yet another outrageous case of passenger misconduct on board an Air India flight. You've got a man who urinated on a fellow passenger. This is on flight AI 2336 flying from Delhi to Bangkok. And the incident took place on the 9th of April. Now, according to reports, the accused was seated in 2D. That was the accused seat number. This is happening in the business class, mind you. And this person allegedly urinated on the managing director of Bridgestone India, who was situated and placed in seat 1D, just next door. Air India has reported the matter to the DGCA and has launched an internal investigation. It says its standing committee will carry on the probe. In a statement, the airline said its cabin crew followed all laid down protocols, warned the unruly passenger, and even offered help to the aggrieved passenger, the MD of Bridgestone India, in filing a grievance in Bangkok itself, which was declined at that particular time. Meanwhile, Civil Aviation Minister Kinjarapu Mohan Naidu has assured action if any wrongdoing is in fact found. The minister said such behavior on flights is unacceptable and will be dealt with seriously. Now, Air India has reported the entire incident to the DGCA and has initiated that internal investigation. In that statement that I was just mentioning, the airline said, and I quote, "The crew followed all laid down procedures and the matter has been reported to the authorities. In addition to warning this unruly passenger, our crew offered to assist an aggrieved passenger to take up a grievance with authorities in Bangkok, which was declined at the time. A standing independent committee will now assess the case to decide on appropriate action that will soon follow," or at least that's how and where the hope is leading to. This episode, meanwhile, joins a long string of past incidents involving unruly passenger behavior on Air India flights, particularly raising tough questions over the airline's in-flight monitoring and action mechanisms. Now, this isn't the first time Air India has come under scrutiny for in-flight misconduct, raising serious concerns about the safety. And whilst we list down all of that for you, my colleague Justin Thomas joins us on the broadcast with more details on here. Justin, of course, the entire internet is blowing up with memes and, you know, those sarcastic comments, but this is no light case. This is not a funny movement. This has to be dealt with all seriousness. What is it that you can help the viewers with? What about the passenger? How did it essentially happen, and where is this probe going to lead on to now?
Well, Kabir, clearly someone was pissed on that flight because as you heard right now, these reports that are coming in and confirmed by Air India, and it's obviously it's shocking from any standpoint of view, but there's Air India is again in the picture now. Again, they're having a slew of problems happening in their flights. Now this case, a repeat case, if I may say, it happened a couple of years back also. So right now, as things stand right now, the accused has not, because the flight was going to Bangkok and the authorities in Thailand were supposed to take action, but since the person who was targeted didn't file any charges or press any charges further, so clearly no action was immediately taken against the accused. But yes, DGCA has been informed, so DGCA is obviously going to look into the case and also try to find out if that person can be put on a no-fly list in the near future, if he's coming back to India, when that person is expected back, and probably then there could some sort of action be taken. But as of now, what we know clearly is that when this incident happened, it was on a flight from Delhi to Bangkok, so obviously it was outside the jurisdiction of Indian authorities because it was flying to Bangkok. So no action taken because out there, but yes, anything can happen if that person comes back, and legal proceedings are likely to be filed because Air India has already indicated that they're going to take an action. And also, if you remember about like a couple of years back, in business class, incidentally again, where a man urinated on a 72-year-old woman during a flight. So these kind of cases obviously creates, Air India doesn't really have control. They can't really say that they are in control. But the thing is very simple, that these are happenings with Air India, and an airline which is again trying to regain their so-called market share in the aviation market, and where they're still trying to step up. This comes as a blow for them.
Right, but you know what? This is a little bit of a tricky, slope to tread, Justin, because there are several out there who are out to get these airlines. There are specific Indigo haters and Air India haters as well. But for unruly misconduct, I mean, of course, the fact that there needs to be better in-flight monitoring mechanisms in place. On the balance divide, can we really call out the airlines, or is this purely, a passenger, unruly behavior? This entire probe is going to be equally sensitive, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very passenger-specific case out here because it is something which is out of the control of Air India as an airline. They can probably, suggest that how much a person can drink, but then again, that crosses the limit as to what you can say and what you cannot. So this is really in the realm of the action taken against the passenger, and the airline has already filed case. But in the realm of the PR about Air India, that's where they're getting hit, even if they don't want to. So this is the case that they could have, as I said earlier, the spate of incidents they have been facing, challenges that they've been facing in terms of crew, in terms of seats. A lot of reviews have not been coming up good, and this that jumps up again creates a problem. So DGCA is the authority that can finally take an action on this, and they're expected to do that if the passenger comes back to India. When, and that's the question, when does that passenger comes back?
In-flight safety is also something that people are now talking about, Justin, and these are subjective gray areas. There's another report that is doing the round, allegedly talking about how on a Air India flight to Chicago, the cabin slept in the business class whilst the others were downgraded. Of course, this is a different story, but I'm talking about somebody being on the no-fly list. Is that enough of a deterrence for these kind of issues? I mean, what's the future of aviation? A small plug from a door coming away and, Boeing takes the fall. Suddenly, we're looking at people sitting on the tarmac because of massive delays. And now, back-to-back Air India episodes that are coming right into the limelight. The future of aviation, big question marks on that as well.
Yeah, that is there because Indian aviation as such, if you see in terms of quality, in terms of services, it's still far behind a lot of the carriers from the Middle East. And so when you're trying to compete with such high quality service providers, obviously there's some sort of expectations from you. And Air India, particularly in their cases, even in terms of their seats, let's say the seats which have been worn out, not working, the entertainment system not working. Lots of other cases like this adds up to their woes. And they have been trying to get new airlines, but there's a shortage globally. So right now they have to contain with whatever they have right now, but that is still not, and when such cases prompt up, that again creates a lot of problem for them. They're back to square one, trying to adjust, create an image of an airline that is the Maharaja style of flying, which is clearly not the case right now because they are still trying to gain a hefty market share, which is right now ruled by Indigo. But overall, if we see the scenario around the Indian aviation market, there's a lot of steps that needs to be taken in terms of even services provided inside. How, like if you see the Middle East carriers, they go out of the way to provide customer experience so that they ensure that's the return that they get, because this is the return flyers that makes these airlines like from Middle East the topmost in the world. And to achieve that, you need to set a certain amount of standards, a certain amount of rules, regulations. Like for example, if this action is taken, it's not just a no-fly list. Probably a legal action should be taken when that person comes back to Mumbai or Delhi, where he was flying back to. So if these actions are taken, if the perception changes, only then the image of the airline also improves.
A precedent, an example is what is needed. I think that's the need of the hour, whether it be a passenger particular case or an airline particular case, because like you pointed out, Air India, it's a matter of a little bit of a pride as well. It carries the nation's name in its title as well. But all in all, a whirlwind of bad publicity for the airlines, and that is something that the airlines will have to tackle. Watch on News9 to bring you all the latest details, Justin, getting us those insightful inputs.